Can you calculate poker equity against a range fast? Have you ever wondered if you can quickly calculate poker equity against a range? Well, the answer is yes, and it can be done with some practice and a solid grasp of hand ranges. Poker equity is the percentage chance your hand has to win against an opponent's possible hands by the time all community cards are revealed. Since players often hold a range of hands rather than just one, estimating your equity against that range is essential for making informed decisions. To calculate equity quickly, start by assigning your opponent a realistic range based on their playing style and the actions they have taken. This range represents the likely hands they could have in that situation. Next, mentally estimate your equity against this range by considering how your hand performs against the strongest and weakest hands within it. For instance, if you have a strong pair, your equity might be higher against a wide range but lower against a tight range of premium hands. A practical way to speed up this process is to break down the opponent's range into two categories: value hands and bluffs. Estimate your equity against each subset, and then average these equities based on how often each subset appears. For example, if half of the range consists of strong value hands against which you have 10% equity, and the other half consists of bluffs against which you have 60% equity, your overall equity is about 35%. This method simplifies complex calculations into manageable mental math. Understanding pot odds is also important. Pot odds representing the ratio of the current size of the pot to the cost of a contemplated call. If your estimated equity exceeds the equity required by the pot odds, calling or betting is generally a good decision. While precise calculations often requiring software or detailed analysis, experienced players can make reasonably accurate equity estimates in their heads. Memorizing common equity figures for typical hand matchups and ranges can help speed up this process. For example, using the 4 times or 2 times rule for counting outs or memorized equity percentages for common scenarios can be quite helpful. Fast poker equity calculation against a range involves several steps. First, assign a realistic opponent range based on the situation. Second, estimate equity against the subsets of that range, focusing on value hands and bluffs. Third, average these equities weighted by their frequency. Fourth, compare your equity to pot odds to guide your decisions. Finally, use mental shortcuts and memorized equity benchmarks to speed up calculations. With practice, this approach allows players to make quick, informed decisions during live or online play without needing complex software at the table.